Today, they will have Anthony Polite back. He's shooting .500 in his last 6 games after returning from a wrist injury. Caleb Mills is back after an ankle kept him out. Raekwon Evans, a knee and the loss of his brother. And Nadeem McLeod has been cleared to play today despite a broken metacarpal in his hand. They're still without 2 key players, but guys, they're ready to take a run with some healthy guys.
All right, Holly, thank you. We are underway. Ted Valentine, Brian Dorsey, Mark Schnurr are the officials. The first possession belongs to the Seminoles, and the Orange, of course, in their trademark 2-3 zone.
For those who haven't watched Syracuse before, they play a lot of zone. But Florida State is uniquely suited to attack this zone. One, they're a very good rebounding team, and that's going to be key. The kind of shot they get, there are going to be a lot of long rebounds, and this team has to be quick to the ball.
Raekwon Evans misses the 3. Down to the rebound, Jimmy Boeheim. The 2 teams split their 2 regular season meetings, each winning on the home court of the other. A couple of Boeheims, Joseph Girard, Cole Swider, and Bourama Sidibe getting the start in the middle for the 2nd consecutive game for Syracuse.
Anthony Polite guarding Buddy Boeheim, and Boeheim has size and can shoot over. It'll be interesting to see whether Florida State, that does a lot of switching, whether Florida State decides they're going to trap him when he gets the ball.
Tenor Ngam inside, and he shuffled his feet. 2 7-footers in the starting lineup for the Seminoles for Leonard Hamilton in his 20th year as the head coach in Tallahassee. An ACC tournament championship under his belt back in 2012. And again, as Holly was saying, Jay, they were tracking towards a very high finish in the ACC, and then all the injuries hit. They lost 6 in a row and 8 out of 9, but they're starting to get healthy, and they've won their last 3.
Well, the one thing about all these injuries, Florida State has not lost their fight. They fought through all this adversity, and it's been remarkable the positive attitude this team has maintained through these difficulties. And speaking of positive attitude, there's Jim Boeheim.
His 46th year as head coach in Syracuse for the Hall of Fame. But the story for the Orange this year really is how poorly they have played down the stretch in close games. They are 15-16. Twice they had an 18-point lead over Miami. 2 separate games, lost them both. Had a big lead on Wake, had a lead on Carolina, and just, you've watched as many of the games as I have. In the last minute or 2 of close games, they have not executed well at all. This 15-16 could easily be something like 19-12 if they could have just taken care of the basketball late in game.
That's really the key, is down the stretch against Miami. I mean, they had a 5-point lead with under a minute to go, and the ball. And you saw mistake after mistake just on simple inbounds plays, on, like you say, taking care of the ball, things that this team can do. And I know how disheartening that had to be to lose that game against Miami. But if this team hits shots, there's not a team in the league they can't beat.
The winner of this will play Duke, the top seed in the conference, tomorrow at noon Eastern here on ESPN. Jalen Worley into the game for Florida State. Leonard Hamilton, even with the injuries, will substitute liberally and use a lot of guys. Ngam, this time it goes.
Really smart to get the ball into the corners. The corners can be open because this 2-3 zone, the wings come up, and you can flatten it out if you put somebody in the corners, but it's a good place to attack from. Always the middle of the zone is key, but those corners are going to be key in this one.
Jimmy Boeheim driving on Ngam and lays it in to put Syracuse back on top.
Jimmy Boeheim knows how to play. He's just one of those guys, he knows how to play. And he'll be a fantastic player at the YMCA till he's 50, because he won't change the way he plays.
Yeah, it's funny, he doesn't race by you and he doesn't jump over you, but he can get where he wants to get that shot up. Butler no. Wilkes with a follow and a finish.
That's where I think this game is going to be decided. Can Syracuse finish their defensive possessions with a defensive rebound? The defensive possession is not over until you secure the rebound. Inside position, and then Wilkes is able to come in with nobody blocking him out. And Wilkes is an outstanding shooter, but the fact that he'll stick his nose in there and rebound is going to be a factor in this game. All the Florida State wins.
Fifth-year senior from Orlando, as Harrison Prieto checks into the game now for Florida State. He is a walk-on who, because of all of the injuries, has gotten significant minutes. He's put up pretty good numbers, and when Ngam came out, Jim Boeheim just took Bourama Sidibe out. Frank Anselem is into the game. A block by Anthony Polite, and back come the Seminoles in transition.
They can get something early. That's key.
It's loose and it belongs to the Orange.
What a smart play by Jimmy Boeheim.
Now Buddy Boeheim finds Joe Girard, who left it short. Rebound Anselem. Another look for Girard.
Syracuse has pure shooters. Buddy Boeheim is one. Joseph Girard III is another. You give them open looks, they're going to make them.
Girard 41% from 3 on the season. Syracuse as a team 37.5%.
Good passing.
And Butler, that's what he does. The 7-footer, but he is a perimeter player, only about 195 pounds, but he's got the green light to shoot it from outside.
Joseph Girard is going to find himself pressured throughout this game, but the fact that he moved from the corner up to the wing to get that shot put himself right in the vision of the passer after that rebound. And when Girard gets open shots, he rarely misses.
Matthew Cleveland, number 35, talked about him at the beginning of the show, the 6th man of the year in the ACC this year. Caleb Mills into the game off the bench. Even with the injuries, they're still a deep team. Butler gets a friendly bounce.
Oh, the drive by Mills really set it up, and then he got it to Butler, and then Butler could drive the closeout. So moving the ball from side to side is really important, but it's the penetrating move that's even more important.
How about that? Buddy Boeheim off the dribble, little spin, not just a standstill shooter.
Oh, he can score in a variety of ways, but the key is he can shoot over you.
Blocked by Anselem. And again, opportunities on the glass for Florida State. 2 of them on this trip, and it still belongs to them.
Well, Buddy Boeheim has made 85 threes on the season, so you try to take those away, but that opens up a drive, loves to spin, and with his size, he can shoot over you.
Duke beat Miami twice, but then injury after injury after injury, lost 8 out of 9. But now as they've gotten healthy, or healthier again, Cameron Fletcher, Malik Osborne still out, and they're out for the season. Florida State has won 3 in a row, and they are a dangerous team. They may not be deep by their standards today, but they're still deep.
Well, they have 15 guys in uniform for this game, but you're right. The injuries have been near devastating for Florida State. But Syracuse has dealt with their own injuries, and they've had to make adjustments with Jesse Edwards out of the lineup for the season when he had that hand injury, a wrist injury. That's been really difficult for Syracuse, especially on the glass and defensively with the shot blocker being out.
Freshman Benny Williams is also out for the year for Syracuse. Mills gets a good look at a 3. And the battle for the rebound goes to the Orange. Syracuse does have Symir Torrance back and available today. He has missed the last couple of games with a concussion, but he's in uniform and available to this afternoon. Buddy Boeheim has it blocked.
A nice tightrope walk there by Caleb Mills on the baseline.
Mills up top, and the finish for Jalen Worley.
Every time Florida State has an opportunity to run, they have to take advantage of it. If you can beat that zone down the floor, it is a lot easier than having to go against it for 30 seconds. And the longer you go into the shot clock, the more difficult it becomes. The early attack is going to be really important as well.
You talked about the pressure Joe Girard is going to see. He'll always have a long, rangy, athletic guy on him today, you would think. A lot of switching now to the Seminoles with the shot clock running down. Girard, no. Rebound, Butler.
That's a good rebound by John Butler, going after that thing with 2 hands. You know, Syracuse not a great rebounding team. They give up a lot of offensive rebounds, but they don't give up as many second chance points as you would think, and that's key. Now, part of the reason is because you take a lot of threes, there are a lot of long rebounds, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Syracuse's opponent is scoring second chance points.
Swider, yes.
How important is that? Cole Swider, you saw it, scored 36 points in the Smith Center against North Carolina. He was on fire. And when he gets off to a good start, he becomes much more difficult to deal with, much more active, and he's really looking for things.
That game was 9 days ago in Chapel Hill. He made 7 threes in that game. Another one where Syracuse had the lead late and couldn't finish it. And a foul on Jimmy Boeheim. Number 2 on him.
Really for Cole Swider, because he's also tall, he can shoot over. You just have to be with him on the catch. He's one of those guys that you have to say no closeouts. You should never have to make a closeout because you're tight to him all the time. And if Syracuse gets a drive and Joseph Girard has to make a tough two over somebody, so be it. You just don't want to give open threes up to this team.
Great steal by Swider. You saw Jimmy Boeheim go to the bench with 2 fouls. Symir Torrance is in, so Buddy Boeheim drops down to the back line of the zone as he buries a 3 at the other end.
Well, that can't happen. Tenor Ngam was worried about a drive more so than a 3, and Buddy Boeheim was able to just walk into that 3 with ease.
Matthew Cleveland with an impressive baseline drive for the Seminoles.
I really think the corners are a good place for Florida State to attack this zone. Get it down to the corner, flatten it out. If you can drive it, great.
Not this time for Boeheim, and running down the loose ball is Mills, the transfer from Houston. Wyatt Wilkes, he'll launch. And Frank Anselem, a pretty important guy. Without Jesse Edwards, it's Sidibe and Anselem splitting time in the middle for Syracuse. What a look. Extra pass. Torrance not a three-point shooter, but Girard is. And he'll miss as good a look as he's ever going to get.
Well, that was a good drive by Torrance. Florida State, you can't come off a corner shooter. If Torrance makes a 2 in there over somebody, fine. But you cannot give up open threes.
Ngam doesn't look for a shot. Mills blocked by Swider. Numbers for Syracuse. And Swider cleans it up. Syracuse by 6.
On that last Florida State possession, when Ngam got the ball in the middle, Anselem didn't even come up to guard him. And that's intentional. So you want to have somebody in the middle that he's got to come up and engage. If not, it doesn't do you any good to get the ball in the middle. Like, they're not going to even guard that.
Too strong off the glass.
That's a tough shot for Ngam to hit, and it's just a 2 if he makes it.
Swider. That's a 3. And the lead grows for the Orange.
Well, you let Cole Swider get off to a good start, you're going to have to deal with a confident shooter for 40 minutes. And he is a confident shooter right now and locked in. Cole Swider makes a great steal on the inbound. That gave numbers to Syracuse. They were able to beat the Florida State defense down the floor. All of a sudden, matchups are screwed up, and Buddy Boeheim gets a step-in 3. And then on the other end, Swider with the left hand blocking the shot. Defensive player of the game to this point. You'll happily take me there. You won't pay.
No, absolutely not. I will unhappily pay, but I will happily take you there. So. I mean, what do you want? I got you there, didn't I?
Syracuse a little small on the back line with Torrance playing the left wing.
Cleveland off the deflection, gets it back.
Another offensive rebound, but not second chance points, at least yet.
Syracuse has made 4 threes in this game. Florida State has not made one yet. 0 for 8, but another offensive rebound. Shot didn't hit the rim, so Evans has to force it up, and it's down to Girard.
Syracuse is going to have to gang rebound all game long.
Swider feeling it. His 3rd 3 already. He's got 11 points, and it's Syracuse by a dozen.
Said he got hit on the arm as well, but that just shows how confident Cole Swider is and why you don't want to let shooters see the ball go through the basket. Because he's now 3 for 3 from 3 and is off to a great start, the kind he had at the Smith Center. I mean, he scored more points in the Smith Center than any player ever in that building.
Barama Sidibe with a block. A transition 3 for Joe Girard.
Syracuse is killing Florida State in transition. Just killing them in transition.
Wyatt Wilkes down for the Seminoles.
Took a little shot there from Buddy Boeheim. That looked intentional. I wonder why Wilkes hadn't said anything. That's the kind of thing that should be reviewed. But the referees didn't see it.
Wilkes to the bench, still in pain, and as you say, nobody to the monitor, so they play on.
That's a solar plexus shot.
Syracuse, as Jay said, lighting up Florida State in transition and with transition threes. Caleb Mills way off. Gets it back. No reset of the shot clock.
Florida State is getting second chance opportunities, but they are not getting second chance points.
Evans, shot clock at 3. Mills knows it and hits it.
Boy, really good play by Evans there to get the ball to Mills. He knew where the clock was. And that little penetration move opened it up for Mills to get that late clock shot off.
Torrance in the game, allowing Girard to play off the ball a little bit more. Swider bothered at the rim. And a foul going against Syracuse is that Sidibe crashing the glass. It'll be number 2 on him.
And watch Buddy Boeheim underneath.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was clearly an intentional shot. Wow. And it got its desired effect of getting Wilkes' attention.
And as you say, Wilkes must not have said enough to anybody about what happened to warrant the officials going over and having a look at it.
Yeah, I think if he said something, maybe his coaches could have got to the officials to have them take a look at it, because you can request that.
An unforced error there, and it's back over to Syracuse.
Where Florida State out of sync on the offensive end, but one guy that will never be flustered is Leonard Hamilton. A proud member of the Bald Brotherhood, and we are happy to have it.
Absolutely.
He was the first guest ever on Bald Men on Campus. You know that?
Was he the first guest because he's bald or just because he's a great guy?
Both. Both. Well, I think you'll find that bald and great guy go together.
Yeah. But there are some exceptions.
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting next to one of them. You think you are.
Yeah. And now the officials are at the monitor.
Yeah, so clearly they got word. And I don't know whether they got word from the league, but if they couldn't have been looking at that, because if they did, if they were looking at this, you can't ignore that.
Whatever they were looking at,
it can't be that. It had to be something else.
Yeah. Girard now with a 7-footer, John Butler on him. Into Anselem, who's checked back in for Sidibe. Nice look here. Open Swider. Anselem had it, but had it taken away. Now Polite. 1-on-3. And he'll finish and draw the foul.
What a tough take by Anthony Polite. The left-hander coming in the left side. And there was going to be a collision if you tried to take a charge on that. That was a really tough take and a really good one. Cole Swider couldn't get there. And that's 90% of those charge block calls are blocks, and that one was called correctly.
Holly Rose got more.
And guys, what makes it even more dangerous, is you see that kind of soft cast on his right wrist. He's been out for a while, but I'm told his mom was coming over for senior day from Lugano, Switzerland, where he's from, and so he did all kinds of rehab. He was not going to miss games while his mom was in town to watch him play.
Great stuff. This is his 3rd game back from the injury, and in double figures in each of the first 2. A nice finish there by Symir Torrance, who's getting some pretty good minutes here as he comes back from a concussion. Prieto wide open in the corner. Rebound Swider.
Yeah, Symir Torrance is such an aggressive penetrator, and I think he's really good in the zone. What a move by Boeheim. Swider, bounce pass. And Anselem will go to the free throw line. Where the ball movement's so good there for Syracuse.
Jim Boeheim liking what he is seeing here in the early going. Second round action of the ACC tournament in Brooklyn.
I find it hard to believe that Wake Forest is on the bubble. I mean, I think they are firmly in the field. Now, if the Demon Deacons were to lose to Boston College in this next game, maybe there's a discussion point. But I just don't see that. But that's just me. I think they're a tournament team, and offensively, that team is fantastic with Alondas Williams and Jake LaRavia. Jake LaRavia is one of the best cutters, not only in the ACC, but college basketball. On back cuts, and he makes everything go for that team.
Alondas Williams, the ACC Player of the Year. Steve Forbes, in his second year, the ACC Coach of the Year. They are a very interesting team. 23-8 on the season, 13-7 in league play.
A really good job by Anselem to get out there and trap that ball along with Cole Swider. I'm not sure Butler was prepared for that. Wound up throwing it away as a result.
Boeheim working hard on the dribble, but Polite staying with them. Boeheim wins the battle. Some stick-to-itiveness there from Buddy Boeheim.
Well, the offense is clicking, but it's not necessarily passing and cutting that's doing it. Buddy Boeheim, when he gets some matchups, just going after it.
And now a guard in Caleb Mills filling that role in the middle of the 2-3 zone. But Florida State now 1 for 10 from three-point range. That's your difference. Syracuse is 6 for 10.
Think this thing's going up?
Yes.
You knew it. I mean, he's just dribbling, looking for a shot. You knew it was going up.
19.3 points per game this year for Buddy Boeheim. 1 point ahead of Alondas Williams as the leading scorer in the league. Polite the kick.
Got to shoot that one. He's wide open.
Evans with a floater won't go.
Evans was wide open. You got to pull the trigger on that. Good fade.
And a clean look for Boeheim. Where they got the shot they wanted in transition, didn't they?
Boy, Florida State needs to push the ball up. After Mills got that rebound, push it. One, you might be able to wear Syracuse out a little bit. These guys play a lot of minutes, but they've got to play a faster tempo.
You like Mills in the middle of the zone now?
I like any playmaker. I think they can put any one of 4 guys in the middle there. And really, with this lineup, with John Butler playing the 5, I think you put anybody in there. But you got to put somebody in there that can make that shot to engage the middleman of the zone.
Good recovery by Mills so that Swider can't get the shot off.
And if you make him drive, that's a win. There's a switch.
Shot clock running down. Girard, left hand.
Girard just got lower. And the low man in basketball usually wins. His shoulders were far lower. He got right into the hip of John Butler and just got past him.
The junior from Glens Falls, New York. Girard averaging better than 13 points a game on the season. Mills to a cutting Polite. And he got stood up by Anselem, and now Anselem is shaken up behind the play. What a great pass, but Swider can't finish it. Boy, Torrance made a terrific play.
Maybe the easiest shot that Syracuse has had, and it turns into a layup on the other end.
Anselem appears to be okay. He was definitely shaken up, didn't get over half court when Syracuse came up the floor, but he appears to be all right now. 3 subs getting ready to come in for the Seminoles.
Syracuse really needs to pressure Joseph Girard. He can't be allowed to walk into a shot. Got another switch. Florida State is a switching team.
Step back 3 around and out. The Orange now 6 for 13 from three-point range. Where they close out on Prieto in a hurry down in the corner.
Syracuse likes to trap on the sidelines and the baseline.
Mills contested. And Syracuse doing a better job recently keeping the Seminoles off the offensive glass. Another fake and another clean look, and Girard knocks it down.
With Florida State unusually slow in transition to get back. They're not getting back with purpose. And that was a simple little shot fake, and Florida State just flying by because they're not getting ahead of the ball.
Girard, the second Syracuse player into double figures along with Swider. Now a turnover, and Swider's got 13. Asking for a foul call he didn't get, and it is all Orange right now here in Brooklyn.
Syracuse has been so good in transition. And on the other end, Florida State has been poor with their transition defense. And Joseph Girard, really good with the ball. Just gets lower, gets his shoulders into the hip of John Butler, gets past him and finishes with that left hand. Little shot fake, the flyby, And a beautiful stroke for Joseph Girard. And then Cole Swider missed an easy one. He's not missing that one. And he got fouled as well. Could find his wallet. When we go out to dinner, he gets to the bathroom quicker than anybody when the check comes.
And now for what you really need to know today, brought to you by Principal Financial Group.
Well, to LaFonso Ellis and Seth Greenberg's point, transition defense has not been good. We're seeing wide open shots. You have to fan out to the three-point line and pick guys up. Girard, Buddy Boeheim, Swider. You can't run and protect the basket. You have to protect the three-point line first. And that first clip, Tenor Ngam in transition, you're not going to always have the matchup you want. And he had to pick up Buddy Boeheim. He's worried about the drive. Take away the three first. You can deal with the drive later, especially with that kind of length.
17-point lead, Syracuse. The winner plays Duke in a quarterfinal tomorrow. Evans looking inside. Ngam knocked away by Anselem.
Just not strong enough. Left hand of Anselem just took it away.
Swider. Boy, he's getting anything he wants right now. Cole Swider's got 15.
Well, it's just so much easier. He's got Worley on him, and that's a huge size advantage for Cole Swider. Just patiently, with poise in the post, just turned and shot right over him.
Today's daily alliteration brought to you by
a lot of alliteration from anxious analysts placed in powerful posts. You know what that's from?
No.
Broadcast news.
Boy, and the Seminoles, they can't buy one, Jay. They are 1 for 12 from three-point range.
Well, this Syracuse zone can be a rhythm disruptor, and right now, Florida State can't get any rhythm.
Torrens stumbled and turned it over. Just the second turnover committed by Syracuse, and a transition bucket at the other end for Matthew Cleveland.
One of the few transition buckets we've seen. You know, after that last timeout, Syracuse shooting 50% from the field, 7 of 14 from 3. To only 27% for Florida State. Here's the switch. Ngam having to guard Girard. He can get by him easily.
And that's going to count. The two officials looking at each other, Ted Valentine and Brian Dorsey. And Brian Dorsey says count the basket.
Well, Girard just able to get by Ngam and the over pursuit. So now all of a sudden you got to over pursue to get back in front. And then the reach got him around the neck. And Girard finishes it and gives the flex. That's why these guys work out so hard. It's not just to get stronger so you're a better player. It's to make sure that the flex looks good.
There was no Billis flex after an and one back in the 80s.
My flexes didn't do me any good. First I'd have to score.
Holly?
Well, guys, he might not be Jay's guns, but he does have a lot of swagger, and I think that comes from his football background. He was a terrific quarterback. Probably could have gone D1 and played quarterback, but he just plays with a certain confidence. A two-sport athlete, started to really focus on basketball. And guys, he's also a really great shooter. You know, he's broken some of Jimmer Fredette's records as well, and he just has a lot of swag. Maybe not the guns of Jay, but swag.
Scored a ton of points in high school. 3-year starter for the Orange. Cleveland bothered by Torrens, who knocked it away. Good minutes from Symir Torrens for the Orange, and that continues.
Well, that's the aggressiveness on both ends of the floor. You know, Symir Torrens transferred in from Marquette. He's from Syracuse and actually went to Syracuse basketball camp as a kid. But he's just aggressive, going after the ball, knocking it away, and then running the lanes. And this is about as strong a take as you're going to get. Goes up to get fouled, but still completes the play off of 2 feet. You know, Torrens has good quickness. He handles the ball, but he can get in the paint.
Jimmy Boeheim picked up his second foul with 13:35 to go in the half. Torrens came in, hasn't come out, and Torrens has been terrific for Syracuse so far in this one.
And he's played all over the zone. He's played up top. He's played down on the wing, on the baseline.
Prieto with a little reverse scoop, the assist to John Butler.
Meteorology major. They call him the weatherman.
He's a storm chaser, too. Swider, and he's going to the line.
If you're a storm chaser, shouldn't you go to Syracuse?
Well, if you're a snow chaser, you go to the right place.
Good point. Lake effect.
Yeah. Syracuse by 20 with Swider at the line, having a huge first half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal.
spent a lot of time in the principal's office, so I can relate.
How about 17 now for Swider?
Well, Syracuse going to hang half 100 on Florida State in the first half. This has been as good a performance as we've seen out of Syracuse in quite some time.
But I'll tell you this, and we talked about it off the top of the show. They have let a lot of leads, a lot of big leads slip away. This has been a phenomenal 19 minutes for them. But Syracuse fans, they're just not in the frame of mind to feel comfortable about anything. Turn around, Prieta. He is firmly in the rotation because of all the injuries, even with some of the injured players coming back. Prieto's still getting his minutes.
And he had his best game, maybe against Wake Forest. He had 13 points and 13 rebounds against the Demon Deacons. And he's one of the better leaders on this team and did it from a walk-on position.
Boeheim to Swider, who's going to shoot 3 after he was fouled by John Butler.
Well, you can't foul a jump shooter, but especially you can't foul a jump shooter that's falling out of bounds on the baseline. Just a fundamental error that gives Cole Swider, who shoots 85, 86%. Pretty good defense there by Leonard Hamilton. Yeah, that's just not a good foul.
You got to let the shooter come down. So Swider can add to his totals. Also the 3rd foul on Butler. The transfer from Villanova having a huge first half, as now Butler's out and Mills is in. Made them all.
Well, this is sort of typical Syracuse, isn't it? You get to the postseason, you're 0-0 again. And it seems like every year the Orange seem to rise to the occasion. Anselem has to come up to get Prieta because he can make that shot.
Polite with a 3 from the wing. Torrens the rebound, and Syracuse can hold for the final shot of the first half.
And will. So if Syracuse takes the shot with 4 seconds to go, they'll have a 5 or 4. They'll have a great chance for an offensive rebound if they miss.
6 seconds. Girard. Torrens. Good if it goes, and it will.
I don't think he got it off.
You don't think so?
No. They got to look at it.
They will look at it.
I mean, it was awfully close, obviously, but it looked like it was in his hand. Coming out of it when you hit when the red went off.
Yeah, you're right. So they'll take that off the board, but still a sensational first half for Syracuse with a 40.
Right now, Joseph Girard saying, everybody get out of the way. And he's going to take him into the middle, and Samir Torrens is wide open underneath, but he just finishes the play, gets fouled. Just a great job of taking advantage of matchups in their favor by the Syracuse Orange.
Let's bring in Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, talking to Leonard Hamilton, he said some of his guys who have been out with injury just had some conditioning issues in that first half. He said Anthony Polite, Caleb Mills, those are our energy guys, and they just didn't have it. They got tired. He also said he thought they were being too tentative against the zone. He said, I don't understand it. We've played against this before. But he did remind his team that Syracuse has had a tendency to give up big leads, that they should be able to get back in this ballgame.
All right, Holly, thank you. Yes, as we talked about, that has been a common theme through a lot of Syracuse's losses, is having a big lead, including an 18-point lead in each of their 2 games against Miami. Lost both of those. Could have won at Wake Forest, could have won at Carolina. The resume could have looked a lot different for the Orange. But they can't worry about that right now. Got to live in the moment and try to play as well in the second half today as they did in the first. Now they're up 25 right now, but look at the margins they have had in games they have eventually gone on to lose this year.
Well, that 18-18 against Miami and that 17 against Colgate, those are the most relevant. I mean, a 10-point lead in today's game is nothing. It's just a few possessions. But, you know, Syracuse only had 2 turnovers in that first half. They just coughed the ball up on that last possession on a simple guard-to-guard pass. And that's what would worry Jim Boeheim, is if you're loose with the ball. But for the most part, when you look out at the faces of the Syracuse players, they have a different look on their faces right now, certainly than they did against Miami down the stretch.
And it looks like Florida State, right out of the chute here in the second half, Jay, is going to step up the pressure full court.
They have to. I mean, Florida State is down. They got to make something happen. They're not going to do it by letting Syracuse run 20 seconds off the clock each possession.
And again, Syracuse not a very deep team at all. Does that impact them later on in the game? A miss by Buddy Boeheim. Barama Sidibe with great work on the offensive glass.
It is so nice to see Barama Sidibe back. I mean, a couple of years ago in 2020, he averaged 8 rebounds a game at 44 blocks and shot well over 60% from the field. But injuries have taken away his ability to play for the Orange. They expected him to patrol the middle last couple of years.
Caleb Mills, bounce pass in traffic. Anthony Polite, bounce pass back to Mills. And they just can't find an opening. Cleveland's got to get it off. Misses the shot, and it's back to the Orange.
To say that Florida State is out of sync on the offensive end would be an understatement. And the unflappable Leonard Hamilton, there's not much you can do. You can X and O your way out of this Syracuse zone all you want, but the truth is when you get into a gap, you just have to be able to make a play. And right now, Florida State is not making plays.
73-year-old Leonard Hamilton, 20 years in Tallahassee. 77-year-old Jim Boeheim, 46 years as the head coach at Syracuse, his alma mater. Turnaround by Swider, and it's his afternoon, isn't it?
Just a little staggered screen up top, and then Sidibe set a little pin-in screen for Cole Swider to get him isolated. And Swider, with that size, when you get a switch and he's shooting over a wing or a guard, he can take his time. The only thing he has to be sure of. Now watch this little pin-in screen. And now all of a sudden Caleb Mills switches out on him. He can just spin and then shoot over the top. And as long as when you're getting the ball into the shooting pocket, he's not able to knock it away, he's not going to block it or bother it.
That was the third foul, by the way, on Sidibe. No sign of a change for Syracuse yet, but for Florida State, Caleb Mills to the bench. Jalen Worley returns. Our next game this afternoon, Wake Forest, the 5 seed against Boston College, the 13 seed. BC beat Pitt by 20 yesterday.
Same play.
Sidibe, good patience, and just smothered from behind by Butler. That'll be a held ball, and the possession arrow will give it back to the Seminoles.
That was a great fake by Sidibe, but just a superior defensive play by John Butler to come from behind and get all ball on that block. Magnificent hair, too.
Boy, Butler's got all kinds of upside, doesn't he?
He's going to be an outstanding player. Obviously needs to get stronger. He's rail thin, but strong.
Turnaround from the elbow, too strong. And it looks like another Syracuse foul. Is it Sidibe again? Nope, this time it's Swider.
Syracuse foul, number 21, Cole Swider.
Number 2 on Swider.
Second personal, team 30.
Nice look. Nice challenge, but a foul on Sidibe, and that's going to be number 4 on him, and that will necessitate a change now for Jim Boeheim.
Anselem has provided some good minutes. But Sidibe went up, and that's body and arm. So that's going to be a foul almost every time. This year, maybe not so much as in the past few years, but that's going to be a foul.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal.
Now, did you go to a school with a principal, or did it have a headmaster?
No, we had principal. I didn't go to Harvard. I know.
Florida State really trying to get out and deny. They're forcing Syracuse further out on the floor.
A turnover. Raekwon Evans off to Matthew Cleveland, and a little spurt here for Florida State.
And that's what Florida State has to do. It's going to have to be offense off your defense and be able to get out in front of this Syracuse zone. I'm surprised that Girard didn't look to pull up there. But Syracuse is going to try to use some clock.
Pointer wide left. Rebound Jimmy Boeheim. Swider from the corner. Yes! And a foul!
Or is he having himself an afternoon? And a great play by Jimmy Boeheim to kick it out. The best time to shoot a three is after an offensive rebound, because the defense isn't thinking about playing defense anymore. They're thinking about offense. And another, I'm not sure how much contact there was, but just too close, I guess, for the referees to ignore. Cole Swider is having a great game. He may eclipse that great game he had at Carolina, where he had 36 points. Did that ball hit the bottom of the backboard there when it was inbounded?
I didn't see. He's got 26 now, so 10 shy of the career high he set 9 days ago. Evans left alone. And Symir Torrance back into the game now for the Orange. Joe Girard out there along with him. Jimmy Boeheim has gone to the bench. And again, Torrance was great in the first half. Played 14 minutes, had 5 points and 4 assists.
Well, he adds a different dimension. One, because he can handle the ball, let Girard move off the ball and move without it.
Anselem. And a good kick. And good patience. And a good result. Buddy Boeheim for 3.
And the occasion where Syracuse has had an offensive rebound, they've done a good job of looking for shooters. You don't have a stick back right away, get it to a three-point shooter.
A 30-point lead for Syracuse. 4.5 into the second half.
I think the idea of Syracuse coughing up a lead isn't going to happen in this kind of game.
Boy, and off the top, don't you feel it kind of looked like a pick'em game? 8 seed, 9 seed, they split their 2.
And they were both close games.
Yep. A light into the chest of Anselem to draw the foul to take us to a timeout in an afternoon that has been dominated by Syracuse, and more specifically, Jay, by Cole Swider.
Cole Swider, the transfer from Villanova, has had some big games. He can shoot it. He can get his own at times, and he can shoot over the top. But he's been good at
masters, including my son. That is Ben on the right, W-A-E-R. On the left, you have Jaron May. In the middle, you have Matt Bonaparte, Bones to his friends. So that's Jaron, Bones, and Ben. And those kids do great work. They work hard. They are all over the place. They've had a phenomenal experience in their years at Newhouse. Ben, like a typical showman, never lets anybody else say anything.
I was about to say he looks like a real pro because he's letting the analyst in.
He is actually the analyst this half. They split it. He did play-by-play in the first half. Jaron is doing play-by-play in the second half. But they love Newhouse, and their time in Brooklyn will last as long as Syracuse's time in Brooklyn lasts. So it looks like they've got another day in them with Syracuse holding a 28-point lead, but there is a lot of time left in this one.
So as play-by-play and analyst, he has an appreciation for how difficult the analyst position is.
Yes. I see where you're going with this. You're as subtle as a sledgehammer.
That dead horse will be beaten to death again.
Chris Carrawell, one of the associate head coaches on the Duke staff, is here scouting. The Blue Devils will play the winner of this one, and we'll have it for you tomorrow, noon Eastern, right here on ESPN.
Former ACC Player of the Year.
Shot clock at 2. Swider. And a rare miss for Cole Swider today. Kept alive. Anselem, good hustle, but it bounces to Worley.
Well, Anselem has been very active in this game.
Mills no. And Swider runs it down.
He's got to have 12 rebounds.
Swider, Buddy Boeheim, Joe Girard, none of them has checked out of the game at all today. And that's not all that unusual. They play huge minutes.
A little floppy set for Buddy Boeheim, but he's well guarded.
Anselem tips it to keep it alive. And Swider runs down another one. Anselem the finish. They're just outworking the Seminoles right now.
Well, Swider's been all over the place. I mean, he is running down every ball. He's been, as well as he's played on the offensive end, he's been engaged defensively.
26 and 12 for Cole Swider. Syracuse +6 on the glass against Florida State. Worley left alone. Swider another one. Florida State came in here having won 3 in a row. Syracuse came in here having lost 4 in a row. Go figure. Torrance. And where's the help?
Well, he's middle of the floor. And because Florida State's trying to deny, that was a foul. That should have been a foul on Girard. But good hustle by Joseph Girard to cause that turnover. But with Florida State trying to deny, when the ball's in the middle of the floor, there's no help. And Syracuse Torrance able to take full advantage. And Syracuse has just been the more aggressive team.
Let's bring in Holly Rowe again.
Well, guys, at halftime, I asked assistant head coach Adrian Autry what he thought about Swider and how is he getting so red hot lately. And he said, you know, we're finding him in spots where he can be successful. Not only is he hustling, getting his own shot, but his teammates are finding him. It's been kind of surprising. He transferred from Villanova. He wanted to have a little bit more freedom in his offense. Boy, is he ever finding it. He wants to expand his range. And guys, Syracuse allowing him to do that, and his teammates are finding him in the right spots.
A 6'9" guy who shot 41% from 3 on the season, and those numbers are only going up with what he's done today. And I think they've been equally as impressive, Jay, at the defensive end. They played with great energy at the defensive end today. And Swider just, I mean, anything he wants right now.
He's one of those guys, Dan, that if you let him get going, you're going to have to deal with this all game long. And in addition to that 36 he had against North Carolina, I mean, a couple of the games sandwiching that, he had what, 6 points and 2 points.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can get to him early, he's a streaky momentum guy. And if you get to him early, you can have some success. But if he has success early, you're going to have to deal with an incredibly confident and skilled player throughout the course of the game. Takes the contact. Look how he never took his eyes off the rim as he's going up. You know, Cole Swider has earned this break.
His first breather this afternoon. It may just sit until the under-12 timeout. As Jay said, cold, hot, cold, hot. 236, 6, and 28 and counting his last 4 games.
Well, you can look at the average and get a different picture of it. He's been spectacular in 2 games and average in the other 2. But when he's spectacular, man, it's a pleasure to watch, isn't it?
68-34. With 12:13 to go.
So that means Syracuse is up 34.
That's correct.
Applied mathematics major.
Yes. Jimmy Boeheim spins. John Boeheim into the game for Swider. Girard. And the rebound to Butler.
Cleveland was out ahead of the pack, but pretty good pressure on the ball by Girard, so Polite didn't want to throw it. A good job by Anselem to stay on the floor and not go for that fake.
You can make a really legitimate case that every single guy who's played for Syracuse is playing well and contributing. You know, we talked about Torrance. Anselem's giving them good minutes off the bench, too.
Everybody looks sharp, and it's sort of one of these things where they're doing their job.
Still 11:26 to go, but it is a rout right now in the favor of Syracuse. Our next game is getting a double bye into the quarterfinals, so they will all make their first appearance of the tournament tomorrow.
You really think Coach K is ready to get the heck out? He's not yet. Maybe he'll coach an AAU team or something. Wouldn't that be awesome? You walk into an AAU game, and all of a sudden Coach K has got a bunch of 16-year-olds he's coaching.
Mills to Butler. What about like a, you know, he's got the camp. What about like a Masters team? Get a bunch of middle-aged guys together and get them running up and down the court.
I think
slapping the floor.
I think what you should do, being a player in that event, is have him coach the Maccabi games.
I'm retired.
I would love to see him scream at you instead of me for a change.
No, he does scream at me. He just does it when I'm watching practice. Just kidding, Coach. You don't scream at me. Jacques down with a rebound. So Swider still on the bench coming out of the under-12. Now there's, again, a ton of time. How about that? Little brother to big brother, buddy to Jimmy, and they're both smiling big on their way back down the court.
You think Mom likes that one? Julie Boeheim?
This is just a stunning score so far here in Brooklyn. 70-34 Syracuse. In what looked like an even game coming in.
Well, we mentioned they played 2 really close games during the regular season. And I thought this was going to be a game that would be likely to be played in the 60s, low 70s. And Syracuse has 70 with 10 minutes to go. Good job by Senator Torrance to get the ball out of there. Had the big guys handling it. Then Buddy Boeheim, one guy back. Caleb Mills has to commit. And Jimmy Boeheim, the transfer from Cornell, above the rim.
Well, Swider loving it. Swider and Girard on the bench right now. Again, you got to think about a game tomorrow, and this is not a deep team. And I'm not saying Jim Boeheim's going to pull all the regulars out now, but you do want to get a few guys a few minutes on the bench here and there to be fresher for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's way too early to go exclusively to the bench. You want to keep your starters out there and your main guys out there as long as you can. As long as you have to.
A shot blocked by Butler, and nobody is there in a white jersey to get the rebound. Anselem with an easy one. This is not the Florida State we usually see in terms of, you know, the intensity and the energy and the 50-50 balls and that sort of thing.
Well, you're down like this, it's even harder to do it.
Mills, touch pass, Cleveland. That's a tough shot, the way his momentum is carrying him away. Another guy with a ton of talent, just a freshman.
Yeah, he's really good now, but he's going to get even better. He's got just good scoring instincts. He's not a shooter yet, but a slasher and a good cutter. And
that's now 29 fast break points for Syracuse in this game. Mills.
Well, the truth is, this is really more the Syracuse team we expected to see most of the game. They've had so many problems with injuries and difficulties, and early on in the season, defense was an issue, but their defense has been terrific in this one.
How about Anselem?
Good cut. Just smart basketball by Jimmy Boeheim. He saw that Anselem was in trouble and made a really good hard cut.
Anselem's got 10 rebounds now off the bench.
He's done everything you would expect or want out of play in the middle of that zone. He's been engaged there, and he's rebounded his tail off.
Another bucket for Cleveland. But obviously trading baskets nowhere near enough for Florida State right now. Syracuse with an enormous lead here in this second round game.
And Syracuse not in any hurry to inbound the ball, just let the clock run. And really every possession, you know, try to use clock. They don't want to take the air out of it, but try to use clock.
The Wake Forest Demon Deacons, the 5 seed, having a really nice year, 23-8. The player of the year in the conference, and Alondis Williams, another terrific player, and Jake LaRavia. How about the transfers that Steve Forbes went out and got in the offseason, and how well that's worked out?
Well, he got all winners. You know, brought in Dallas Walton from Colorado, in addition to the two that you mentioned. Jake LaRavia went to Indiana State, transformed his body and his game.
Buddy Boeheim,
layup. That's a layup for him.
Buddy Boeheim.
And he saw that the whole way.
And for Buddy, his third 3 of the game. Well over 300 in his career at Syracuse.
But Florida State not even getting back. Wow.
I mean, Leonard Hamilton has just got to be livid with the effort in defensive transition.
Not even getting back. And look, it's tough when you're down this level, because Florida State knows this game's over.
Timeout, Leonard Hamilton.
Timeout on the floor.
He may not look all that happy on the outside, Jim Boeheim, but he's got to be thrilled with what he is seeing from his team. They are playing about as well as they can play at both ends of the floor. And again, Buddy setting up big brother Jimmy. And it's all orange here in Brooklyn with Mom. Now she's showing her emotion, loving it. Not happy with who she's sitting next to. Look at every matchup, every region, and then at 10 o'clock Eastern, even more coverage of both brackets. As always, you can watch everything streaming live on the app.
Reese and the guys.
Reese and the guys. You're one of the
sounds like you know, you're introducing the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Mick and the boys.
Yeah. Well, Reese is the front man, and he likes it that way.
Yeah, well,
and he's earned that right.
I actually had to work on that copy. The original copy was Reese and the Schleps. I got it to guys.
Yeah.
Oh, what? It might not have been completed, but that was pretty cool.
You can do that in a 38-point game.
The fake behind the back pass, almost beautifully executed.
Buddy Boeheim. Another offensive rebound for Frank Anselem. Now a Jacques with a rebound, and he's injured.
Yeah, I thought Anselem got fouled, but in this kind of game, they're probably not going to call that contact. I hope he's okay.
Holding his left knee.
It's the one with the wrap around it.
A redshirt sophomore from South Sudan has just played a couple of minutes here and there today. And hopefully this is nothing serious. Jacques down. He has 5 ACC teams in. And he's got Virginia Tech and Virginia just on the outside looking in. Bubble under consideration, that sort of thing. Matthew Cleveland a little bit too strong, and Anselem down with a rebound.
He's had a great rebounding day, hasn't he? He's had a lot of missed shots to go after.
Yeah. He's got 12 rebounds. Swider's got 13. It looks like Cole Swider may get the rest of the afternoon off. He has been out for a while. And again, with a big lead, Jim Boeheim can rest some of the key guys, and will rest more of them. Jimmy Boeheim, a great feed. How many lobs have the Orange gotten today?
Yeah, it's just not an engaged Florida State defense right now, so Syracuse able to get whatever they want.
Ngom fouled inside. I mean, generally Florida State, with all the size and the length and the athleticism, you can't do this kind of thing to them the way Syracuse has today.
Well, they're trying to deny right now to make something happen, and it's a lot easier to get back cut when you're out denying. But their defense right now is all over the place because Syracuse spread them out, and Florida State's trying to take some chances with pressure and denial.
And Leonard Hamilton he's got a glare in his eyes right now with the performance he's seen today as we go to Holly.
Well, guys, I know this game hasn't gone like they planned, but Florida State has one of the most unique rosters in all of college basketball. They have 4 7-footers on this roster. Now, if you consider that Google tells us there are only 2,800 7-footers in the world, it's pretty significant to have 4 on one team, 7 foot or higher. One player is even 7'4" in Naheem McLeod. Very unique.
They always have a lot of size, but even by their standards, even more so than normal this year. We have seen Ngom and we have seen Butler, 2 of the 7-footers so far today for the Seminoles.
What that really does is necessitate more big and tall scores in Tallahassee.
You think it's all a racket? You think it's... There's Naheem McLeod at 7-4. Technically cleared to play. Got a wrap on his hand. Hasn't played in over a month as Ngom lays it in with a left hand. How good has Symir Torrance been in this game today? What a beautiful finish he just had at the other end, at this end of the court last time down.
Well, Torrance is such a good handler, and there's another back cut. And when you're denying, Syracuse is just spreading it out. That was set up. Torrance just communicating non-verbally with Boeheim to cut back door, and that'll probably be it for Buddy Boeheim for the game.
So 5 minutes left, a huge lead, and the starters will start coming out. Girard adds to the lead, 88-46. Patty Casey is into the game. A grad student from Scranton, PA, as Ngom slams it home. Casey, #1 in orange. He played D2 ball. He was a capable player. And he'll get a chance to put some shots up, you would think, here in the last 4.5 minutes.
Scranton, PA, isn't that the home of Dunder Mifflin?
Yes, it is. This margin is allowing you to bring out all kinds of obscure references here today. What about Duke and Syracuse tomorrow? What do you think?
Well, Syracuse got handled pretty well by Duke both times they played. Some difficult matchups, and Duke can really put some playmakers in the middle of that zone. They've got shooters on the perimeter.
Casey, we told you. And the Syracuse fans and teammates alike loving it.
Patty Casey with the floater.
In and out for Wilkes. Engom tips it back up and in.
Wyatt Wilkes doesn't miss many of those. He's an outstanding shooter. Comes from a great basketball family. His grandfather, Glenn Wilkes Sr., coach at Stetson in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Good move by Casey and a terrific little floater in the lane. It's a great day for Syracuse. They are blowing out Florida State.
The Boston College Eagles. A transfer from Oklahoma, grad transfer from Oklahoma. So one historic season with Wake Forest, just having a sensational year. And we are told the way the ACC tallies who leads the league in category, it goes right through the NCAA tournament. So he still could be the lead leaguer. Say that again.
League leaguer.
The lead leaguer. The league leader in scoring, Buddy Boeheim with 14 today, and they're neck and neck for the scoring lead in the ACC.
Saying that is worse than rivalry week.
That's right.
Where rivalry week turns every announcer into Elmer Fudd.
Exactly. You dread seeing that. A turnover. 3:20 to go. And Syracuse really from just about 3-4 minutes into the game, they have been blowing out Florida State ever since. A little moment here or there, but nothing sustained from the Seminoles in terms of making a comeback, as we check in again with Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I was able to just observe as the athletic trainer worked with Anselem on the bench, and they did those standard ligament security tests, but he was complaining of some pain when they would put on the front of the when they would push on the front of his knee. They were very concerned, and he would wince in pain. So not looking good right now from what we're seeing on the Syracuse bench. I'm sorry, Jacques.
Well, about the only unfortunate news for Syracuse on an otherwise great day, Joe Girard comes out for the last time. So we'll wait and see what tomorrow brings for John Boheim. As Girard sits down beside him to check on the status of his friend and teammate.
Chaz Owens into the ball game, the son of the great Billy Owens of Orange fame, played in the NBA for a long time, from Blue Bell, Pennsylvania. Blue Bell ice cream.
How good was Billy Owens?
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Went to the same high school as Jeff Lebo, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. In fact, played for Dave Lebo, Jeff's dad.
Casey. A little bit too strong on the three. Jimmy Boeheim, the only starter still in the game for Syracuse. John Butler. And that's what he can do. A 7-footer with a legitimate three-point shooting stroke.
Oh, he shot the ball very well earlier this year against Duke. Knocked down some threes. Wound up having 14 points. Knocked down 3 threes against Duke.
Anselem adds to his totals the assist to Casey.
Anselem has had some good games this year, but I'm not sure he's played any better than he played in this one. He had 15 rebounds against Virginia Tech, and he's been equally as good in this one.
Quincy Ballard inside, another one of the 7-footers, and he's a Syracuse native. Torrance. Owens for the finish. And they're all having fun right now for the Orange.
Another terrific job by Torrance in the open floor.
9 assists for Symir Torrance off the bench today for Syracuse. How glad are they to have him back after missing the last couple of games with a concussion.
They give him such a great option off the bench because he can run the team and let Joseph Girard work off the ball.
Casey needs some help now. Just over a minute to go as Cleveland reaches in and fouls Torrance, and that was so Leonard Hamilton could make some subs. He's going to take his guys out. And for a lot of them, these are seniors. Some of the guys walking off the floor. These are seniors, and you'd figure there's more basketball coming, that Florida State would get an NIT invite. Jimmy Boeheim out, so all the starters out now for Syracuse. When Jim Boeheim wanted to get so many guys into the game, he even took Patty Casey out. Casey came in as one of the walk-ons, made a shot, missed another, and he can't even finish the game. Jim took him out. And now somebody, if one of these guys knocks down the shot, you are really going to see a celebration. What's going to happen there? Nico Ruffin. A 37-point lead for the Orange. And if it stays like this, this will be the second largest margin of victory in any conference tournament win for Syracuse. 1999, of course, they were back in the Big East.
Well, just a complete game for Syracuse in every facet.
And a date with Duke tomorrow as Chris Laval, a grad student from Syracuse, knocks down a floater and the bench goes wild again.
Just love seeing that. When the bench goes crazy, knowing how hard these guys work every day in practice and rarely get rewarded in games. These are important moments.
Yeah, and for folks who don't know, they spend countless hours being the scout team, simulating the offense and defense of the team that Syracuse is about to play. They're the guys playing against the regulars day in and day out, pretending to be the other team.
They always had amazing performances out of your scout team when they were trying to simulate the other team. You know, playing, if you got to be the best player on the other team, you play without fear in practice.
So it's on to the quarterfinals for Syracuse. They thump Florida State 96-57 and get themselves a date with the #1 seed of the ACC, the Duke Blue Devils, tomorrow at noon right here on ESPN. Cole Swider was great. Everybody who played for Syracuse today really did a great job. Torrance and Anselem off the bench as